Yeah. And I think it's something I've learned, like again, the hard way. I'm 35 now, and it's not like I'm some wise man all of a sudden, but definitely I have
you got
that
the hair for it though.
He just needs the cane.
Yeah, I need to get that gray hair, man. I'll start getting that old man strength. But I think that's absolutely something you have to be intentional about. And I think the difficult part, we talked about this as well, is, you hit the nail on the head as far as like the chasing, I think as particularly as like men, we're like hardwired. We want to conquer shit, and we're like, we want to compete. Obviously, not to say women aren't, but I just think we are just inclined to be competitive, and we want to conquer things, and we want to provide and protect. Like, it's just like I think a biological instinct. And as it pertains to success, I think the trap with business and like financial success is like, it's very easy to kind of keep score, right? Particularly, let's say, call financial success. Like, that's kind of your financial assets and like, what's in your bank account and all these other things. And it's very easy to quantify how you're doing in that part of your life. Unfortunately, when it comes to family and relationships, and even just maybe, your own peace internally, there's no scoreboard for that. You know what I mean? It doesn't show up on the stat sheet, right? So if you spend 2 hours intentionally with your daughter after work with do not disturb on your phone, that's a really good thing to do, but it doesn't add to like, the perceived success of you as an individual. However, we almost need to create our own scoreboard internally. And I think that's to your point of that check-in. Maybe it's on a Saturday in a sauna session. We're like, all right, how did I do this week? When I came home from work, was I present with my daughter? Was I, did I go to church on Sunday? Did I hit my 5 workouts, Thursday, Sunday rest days, but did I hydrate? Did I, you kind of look back and, or did I have, 3 glasses of wine that one night and then sleep like crap and, not get up early like I should. So I think that kind of inventory check is a good thing, Jason. And I think maybe for me, I'm kind of maybe doing it subconsciously, but maybe it needs to be even more deliberate. And maybe you get more of an honest answer when it's like that intentional. I don't know.
And I think, Jason, I would love to hear, like, I feel like as a culture, and I'm going to make a blanket statement here. It's like, it feels like we've gotten a little selfish at times too, where I'll speak myself, like almost self-obsessed with what I would call like an ego projection, as opposed to like what really matters. Like, and I told Bear this one day, it's like, I always think like when I'm on my deathbed, am I going to think about that extra $100,000 in the bank account, or am I going to think about the time I spent with my daughters? And it's like, that's easy to say, but I genuinely think it's like, and here's another kind of like corny thing to say, is like, it's the difference between the mind and the heart. Like, the mind wants always objective, quantifiable things. Whereas like when you can kind of sink into your heart, it's much more just about the moment and the quality of time, as opposed to a metric measuring everything. Like, until you've experienced those two different states, and there's ways to do that, whether it's breath work, meditation, like different plants will shove you into those. It's like, it's hard to identify the difference between those two energies. But once you do, you see the value in both, and you're not over leveraged into your mind. And then it's not just you're always kumbaya, not worried about providing and things. But I would love to hear if that resonates at all with you, and kind of what your thoughts are there.
Yeah. I mean, here's a good way to look at it. Like, success for me has evolved over the years. When I first got into the fitness space, I was really young, 15. And I used to think like bigger team, more locations, more employees, more money. That was success. So we grew to more revenue. We grew to more locations. We grew to more employees. And then COVID hits, right? At the time, success for me was more, right? Like financially, I'm speaking like purely like, if you were to ask, what is the financial goals? It was to provide for myself, my family, and create as many opportunities as I can for other people. That was the goal. And then COVID hits, and our business saw we saw major, like 7-figure revenue drops in a night, like that. Like, just instantly. And my lifestyle adjusted accordingly, right? Because it's not like we were, I'm not trying to claim like I was poor or that I was struggling, whatever. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that our business is doing really well. COVID hit, it changed our landscape, and it required me to reevaluate how we were spending. I'll put it that way. So no more lavish spending on travel, none of that stuff. And when I came to find out through that next year or two, was like, dude, I was super happy. Aside from the business struggling and opening and closing our doors and all that stuff, from a family perspective, we were super connected. We felt great. We didn't have to travel to find enjoyment. We were finding enjoyment around just being together and just having that time. And it really reframed the way I looked at it. And a buddy of mine came to me, this is like one of our business mentors, said something to me, and it's been really just resonating with me really big, is that success for him was being able to go to every one of his kids' sporting events and bring the family with him. And so his kids ended up playing sports in college, and he was able to go fly to all of the kids' games and bring the whole family with them. And I thought about that. Like, if that's success, it means you have independence in terms of your work schedule. It means you have the financial means to be able to travel. You don't might not even charter a jet, but you could fly, right? You could just be on a plane and you could do it with your entire family. I was like, wow, it just reframed the way I was thinking. Like, instead of just more, it's like, how do I create a balance where I could show up at every sporting event indefinitely and still provide for my family to be able to go do the things they want to do? So that's kind of how things have evolved for me. I want a smaller team now that gets compensated really well versus a bigger team and just chasing the next location. It's just a different focus.